why choosing a single global partner, global SAP partner is the way to go, and how is it a highway to achieve your goals. So I will now let João and then Mario present themselves and tell you a little bit about their expertise.
Hello, let me introduce ourselves to the audience. I am Mario Candido. I'm the regional director for the Americas at B1 Solutions, and I am with the company since the foundation since 2008. And B1 Solutions is a global gold SAP partner, experts in global and international SAP ERP implementations and rollouts. And we are focused on multinational companies and large enterprises with international subsidiaries. We only work with 2 SAP ERP systems, so we are an SAP shop. Those systems are SAP S/4HANA and SAP Business One. And we operate now in 27 countries, and we are currently over 500 customers on our portfolio in 60 countries. João, can you bring also a little bit about yourself and what do you do in the company and how you got into B1 Solutions?
Yeah, sure. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning to everyone. My name is João Rodrigues. I'm the country manager for the UK. I'm with B1 Solutions since 2017, but I've been working with ERP since 2001. I have a very long and relationship with B1 Solutions and B1 Solutions family, especially with Uzi and Mario. I've been working in global projects and managing global accounts since ever. So it's a pleasure for sharing this experience with you. Thank you.
Thank you, João. Thank you very much for your introduction. So the first question that pops into my mind is, why do you think our customers look for B1 Solutions or for a partner like B1 Solutions?
Well, that's a very nice question that you ask us, and I think that the right answer for this is that first of all, we talk business with our customers. So we are not a standard company that just implements ERPs or just sells applications. We discuss business with our customers. We have a very strong team of senior consultants and a team, a management team that is very focused on doing business and understands the details of our customers and their challenges. And we can discuss face to face at the highest C-level how the solutions and the business should coexist and adapt together, so that companies can persist. And this is the first thing that makes us the best of our game, is this ability that we have to talk business with our customers. The second reason is that we and this is very important, and sometimes customers only realize this after a while, is that we can provide a single point of contact for our customers. We being a company that is global, and being global brings this globality into the table. we provide our customers local expertise with a global reach, and this makes us truly unique, and makes us to drive and to help us and to help our customers to drive their business wherever they want to go. Another reason that we also bring is that we don't try to sell at any price. Again, talking business, being a single point of contact, being global, we have the obligation, and we have the expertise, and we have the know-how to focus on the right solutions for our customers. And today we discuss, and people are discussing this buzzword about digital transformation and digitalization. But before that, companies, and especially our kind of customers, big multinational companies that have an international footprint, they need to expand, they need to roll out. And for that, they need us to drive them, focusing on the right solution for this expansion, for this rollouts, being SAP S/4HANA, Business One, these two ERPs from SAP, best of breed, both of them. They bring this flavor on how to expand and where to expand with the right solutions. And after choosing the right solution with in the different markets, sometimes at more than one country at the same time, we bring our customers the agility to move fast, to move with the right resources. Our resources, B1 Solutions, the customer resources, bringing and setting up a team that is governing, and that is designing, and that is maintaining what we call the template. We can, with our global agility, with our local presence, we can deliver this projects and really set up new companies in new geographies pretty much in time. And the combination of all of this, because we only do this, this is what B1 Solutions is. This is our DNA. Global companies, rollouts, templates. This brings us something that is very, very, very important, and that makes us live to our reputation. That is the experience that we have. So we already failed in the global rollouts. Experience is failing and being not again able to fail. Customers are teaming up with us because they know that we don't fail in this global rollout, or at least that we fail a lot less than our competition. We are experts. We do this every day. We are focused, and this is what we do best, helping global companies to expand, to move, and to be the best. If you look to our customers, all of them are leaders in their industry, and if they are teaming up with us, is because they know that we know what we are doing, we know when to do it, and that we have the right resources to do it. So this laser eye focus brings us to an end that is we are in fact very, very good in what we do, and they know that they can count with us on their challenges and their pains that they face and that they feel every day, and that we can help. And Mario, you know this, and you know that some of the challenges and pains of our customers is something that we need to be there every day. So I think now it's time for you also to share with us these pains and how we combine with our partners on this. Can you guide us, and can you take us through these pains, Mr. Candido?
Thank you for the question, João. As a matter of fact, at the end of the day, that's our bread and butter It's the pain with the about. Oh, sorry about the noise. So the first big issue that we have, that we help our customers, is the template creation and the governance. So B1 Solutions developed a proprietary implementation and rollout methodology. And one of our strongest elements in our methodologies is the project blueprint. On top of that blueprint, we build a rollout template. And what you mentioned already before, this governance model, we develop a blueprint for a project, and then a template during the first pilot, which then is rolled out, being updated only when there are legal and tax requirements and need to diverge from the main template. As part of this governance model, we offer to our customers what we call the gatekeeper of the template, to ensure that during the rollout, we keep standardization through the implementation and rollout. And this plays a key role in the execution of the template, making sure that the subsidiaries are not diverging from what was defined between the headquarter and B1 Solutions in the blueprint and template during the pilot project. So sometimes the customer is not even aware of all the challenges they have in front of them when they are managing the business system rollout. Another challenge is the local accounting and the fiscal and statutory compliance. These local challenges with local accounting, tax laws, compliance, these sometimes change faster at the level of the subsidiary than at the level of the headquarter. Look at the examples of UK, US, Germany, Switzerland, Netherlands, Japan, even China. I mean, these countries are prosperous a lot due to their business stability and the trust they inspire to invest. But then you compare with other countries where label, accounting, and fiscal laws change on a yearly basis, or even multiple times in a year, and then you see in action these types of challenges, and Brazil is one of those examples. And then a third challenge are the local and business practices. Sometimes happens when a headquarter does not understand some of the business practices that are conducted in some of the countries where they operate subsidiaries. These happen commonly when the company is entering in a new market, either opening a greenfield or acquiring a company. So some of those examples we could say, like, Nigeria, Congo, South Africa, Venezuela, and having a global partner with experience in those locations, it is good to give the local perception when talking the global language. This skill set is always very valuable to our customers. As I mentioned when I introduced B1 Solutions, experience in 60 countries and already implemented 500 customers, and having resources in 27 countries give this capacity. It's local knowledge. It's global footprint and local knowledge. So this is one of the big challenges that we run a lot of the times with our customers. And the next issue, I would say, the next challenge for me, it's the most important and the most challenging, because it's transversal to all the organization, hitting all departments. Which is the business process harmonization and optimization. So this is for me, because it goes through all the organization, the most critical one. So when customers have already a site and operation in a country, or they are setting up a greenfield, there are existing and future challenges. One of the main first challenges we find is the difference between the headquarter and the subsidiary in terms of business processes, and even between different subsidiaries inside the same country, which happens when, you know, a company acquired 2 or 3 companies inside the same country. So for example, a UK company buys another company in Brazil in 2010 with a business system, let's call it ERPA. 2 years later, in 2012, the same company buys another company with ERPB, and 3 years later, it acquires a third company with ERPC. There alone, you have a company acquiring 3 subsidiaries with 3 different ERP systems in the same country. And I am sure that all those companies, when acquired, had different business processes. That alone are already 2 very big challenges. I mean, you have different systems, different business processes. How are we going to harmonize all of this? And here is, you know, the challenge of standardization comes in, which it's one very important and critical process to achieve within an organization that is looking to be efficient. And we try to demonstrate to our customers the benefit of thinking about standardization, because this is going to bring them great benefits and value on the long run. So this is not just finding the standard process, but it's finding the right harmony. Sometimes you can find in a subsidiary processes that can fit better the organization than a standard process. We have encountered these scenarios. One time we found in one of the subsidiaries in Japan a process that was much better than the process at the headquarters, and once we identified this process running at the subsidiary level being better than in any other subsidiary and even in the headquarters on a supply chain business process, we took this business process to the headquarters, and this was then implemented at the headquarters and then came down to the remaining subsidiaries. So this harmonization and optimization is very important, and it not always cascades down from the headquarters to the subsidiaries. Sometimes it also goes the reverse direction. And having a global partner that understands the 2 directions and understands the value of something at the subsidiary level that can benefit the whole organization, it's always very good. So this is why this is one of the reasons that I say this is one of the most important and complex processes we find when we deal with global rollouts. Another big challenge it's regarding the intercompany trade scenario. So this happens a lot in our business. So since we are rolling out headquarters to subsidiaries and then multiple subsidiaries, we tend to find a lot of business transactions that are in between companies part of the same organization. So we find sometimes transactions and business processes between the headquarters and the subsidiaries, or even between different subsidiaries. So so let's say, for example, the headquarters sells raw material to one subsidiary in Malaysia. Then this subsidiary transforms this raw material into semi-finished good that then is shipped to another subsidiary in China and then generates a final finished good, which then is transferred to another subsidiary, for example, in Japan or South Korea for final trading. So this is an example where different levels of intercompany scenarios between headquarters and subsidiary, and then between different subsidiaries before reaching the end customer. These scenarios can be sometimes complex because, you know, it's not just a transaction. Sometimes you have also the local and legal requirements, the tax requirements, and a customer with a partner like us with that knowledge and understanding these intercompany scenarios, and understanding the legal and local requirements, even requirements between different countries, it's very valuable. And we understand very well intercompany business, and we design these scenarios for our customers. We implement, we sometimes even automatize these intercompany processes, removing user interaction in the process. So everything is automated between systems. Another big challenge that I also find, since I'm doing this for the last 15 years, is master data replication and master data governance. This is a very serious topic, because many times the big issues that you have when you try to consolidate and do group reporting, which is another challenge that I will talk a little bit later, it's based on these two topics: master data replication and master data governance. So we have several customers that had this as a pain point when we got into the customer, and this was due because they were running master data at the headquarter level different from the master data at the subsidiary level. And this was creating issues along the process, and being consolidation, financial consolidation and reporting, just two examples. But we offer them a process to make sure that through the master data creation and the master data management, we could find a way to have a unique and centralized model that could manage the master data from the headquarter flowing to the subsidiaries. So then we build this master data governance model with specific management points to manage the master data update, the master data, even the master data archive. So this was a common thing that we have found, and it was always a challenge to our customers. Okay, how are we going to manage the master data once we go live, and what should be the best practice? And we always came with the right model for the right customer, making sure that they could improve the process that they were managing their master data between headquarter and subsidiaries, and even between subsidiaries. Another challenge and pain point, a lot related with the master data management, but it was at the level of the users, was centralized user creation. So this was also in some cases an issue, because some organizations have users transacting in multiple companies, and sometimes with multiple systems, but the same user transacting in multiple companies, it's difficult to make sure that that same user has the same level of accesses in two different systems. And even the moment where you create the user, that's the beginning of the issue. Is sometimes the user needs to be created in multiple systems with multiple but sometimes similar permissions and authorizations, and not having the right model to manage that user creation and then deploy these through the subsidiaries with the right permission level was a problem, was a pain point for the customer. So we developed this centralized user management structure to ensure that from the user creation and up to the deployment and management, all authorizations, permissions, logging, and compliance were following the organization requirements, And we know that several of the compliance requirements that rule our customers are very important, and we can help them implement the right strategy and then roll out those solutions. And with that, then our customers can be audited without any issues and still be compliant with their needs. So this is also something very common we find during rollouts. One last one next point was the intercompany reporting. So intercompany reporting is also a source of a lot of challenges. So when subsidiaries need to report and consolidate to the headquarters, and this is where we start seeing the benefits of several of the other solutions we implement to resolve some of the challenges. So standardization, harmonizations, intercompany, then are able to flow between subsidiaries and the headquarters, facilitating consolidation, elimination, and group reporting. So these were challenges that our customers were facing because, you know, the master data was wrong, the pricing was wrong, the master data of the business partner was wrong. And then as the flow of information was coming from the subsidiary to the headquarters, that divergency between master data was impacting the reporting. So by us applying some of the previous solutions, we are able to have this flow improved, and we are able to make sure that the intercompany reporting goes without any issues. There's another challenge that I will mention later, where you could see, you know, the KPI that we have reached to our customers to make sure that this reporting and month-end close is as fast and quick as possible. And then there is the SOX compliance, which is also something that is very important for several of our customers, because we have not only multinational customers, but we have also publicly traded companies, and some of those are under the SOX compliance, and they need to follow that compliance, and they need to follow audit rules and control mechanisms. These are very challenging for some of our customers, and they need to comply. And sometimes there is this additional challenge that is, you know, some of our customers are acquiring new companies, they are acquiring new businesses, and these then become new subsidiaries. And these companies that are acquired, sometimes they were not SOX compliant, they were not under any audit rules, they didn't have any control mechanisms, but now the buying company have to integrate that new company into their organization, and they need to make them following the same compliance rules. So here we again come in using several of the solutions we have shared before. So we by implementing the system, following the template, bringing that company into the same business processes as the headquarter. We, by implementing the right strategies with standardization, harmonization, master data centralization, control permissions, authorizations, logging, segregation of duties, and the same business process, we can turn the subsidiary that was not compliant at all into a compliant subsidiary. So this is again where we are very strong, and we have seen many times this challenge of a customer buying a new business and coming to us and say, hey, we need to roll out SAP Business One or S4HANA to make that company now compliant with our needs. So we get into the subsidiary and we bring the template and we bring the blueprint and we roll out the subsidiary following the same rules that were defined with the headquarter. So another big challenge that I find is related to budget and analytics. And these two times are sources of challenge because the subsidiary using sometimes different systems than the headquarter, and the headquarter not having direct access to the system or knowledge about the system, or the system is even running on a local language. Let's say an American company with a Brazilian company running a local system, all in Portuguese. It's difficult for the American company to really follow up what's going on there, even if they can. So this is where the benefit of having a global solution helped them. But the challenge is that sometimes, you know, the headquarter cannot control the spending, the cash flow, the inventory levels, the accounting, the reporting at the subsidiary level. And with this full online integration of the subsidiaries into the headquarter system will allow this real-time control, because the headquarter now can run a system even on a foreign language in English, although the system is running in Brazil, but the full system itself has 17 different languages, and you could run 27 different languages, and you could run the system in English, although the system is being used in Brazil in Portuguese. With that, when the subsidiary is executing a budget, you can control if by using the same system, if there is any deviation, and you could even, you know, make the comparison between what was planned and actuals. In this specific case of the budget, and the analytics help to track those divergences, so that you can identify the issues after the you can identify the issues immediately after the fact. But in some of the cases, you can even identify issues prior to the fact, because the system has controls that will avoid the users to book some transactions if these are not following some tolerances. So by running the same system, you could track this almost online. So one last point on the list of the issues and challenges and pain points that I find often when we get a global customer is the group reporting. And this is a very critical point, especially for finance people. And we have seen this in many of our customers, especially if they want to run group reporting using, you know, the ERP system or a solution running on top of the ERP system. We have seen in many customers, before we got in, long periods of time for the month-end closing. And then on top of that, we have seen additional time to report back to the headquarter, and then consolidate all the subsidiaries in that group reporting. So we have seen in some customers that, and this was the KPI that I mentioned before, we have seen in some of our customers that this process from month close to group reporting and subsidiaries consolidation, this range of time going up to 15 days. And what we offer to our customers after we implement a tier 2 or a tier 1 strategy is to reduce this process to a max of 3 days. And we are not just offering an idea, a vision. B1 Solutions is one of those examples where we have reduced the closing of our group of subsidiaries in 3 days. And we are talking about 27 locations running SAP Business One. So we are using what we sell, and we can show to our customers how we have done this and how we can make this happen also for them. So many of these issues we have dealt because we also acquired companies since 2008, and we experienced how we are able to fix those issues in-house, and we are able to show to our customers the benefit of applying those methodologies. So we know this by experience, not only with our customers, but also in B1 Solutions. So João, would you like to give us some, thoughts, insights about some of the challenges that I mentioned before? Do you want to add something to any of those points? Well, maybe you can complement something I said before.
More than compliment what you said. I want to say that you just described what we do every day, and I would like to tell you some recent stories that just highlight this pain and what is our day-to-day and how this affects our relationship, and how this makes our relationship with our customers really visible and really adding value. As we sometimes say that companies are living organisms that are evolving every day, and that they need to transform themselves to adapt. Just recently, and especially to this pandemic situation, some of our customers needed to expand fast into Asia and to follow the economy recovery. And with this, they needed someone to help them, to guide them, to govern the template, but also to worry about those sometimes little details, like infrastructure, and some others that sometimes they miss, like culture. They are missing sometimes. It's not only governing the template, not only governing the system, is sometimes matching different cultures, different kinds of organizations, like you explained, in which some of the business processes are more optimized, and that they could fit better the original template, and to mix these teams and to create this dynamic that builds up the partnerships that we have with our customers, and that makes us really unique, and that makes us to have a smooth navigation within this turbulent waters. Another example that you mentioned, and that I would like to bring is, and we were both working on this, working with private equity companies, or companies that are buying companies to then list them, or to make them more suitable to them to be sold and to be added value. Bringing a solution like SAP. And not only a solution like SAP, bringing someone that knows what is talking about, someone that knows what is SOX, something that knows the details of a public listed company, something that knows what is a SPAC, the way that companies start an IPO, this kind of details and the geographies, the expansion, the roadmap, showing this to the board members, and then saying, okay, this is the business plan, this is the different stakeholders, and one of the relevant stakeholders is B1 Solutions and SAP, because SAP is really very important, is the foundation of everything that we are discussing, is in fact a key element of this business plan. The business is what the customer will focus on, is what they know how to do, and then they live with us, being the gatekeepers of their systems, along with their IT teams that in fact are worried with a continuous improvement with their business and where they want to go. But they know that from our side, we will be ready to work with them and to make the companies suitable for the market, for the countries, and again, being something that is our only way of working, that is being really a partner, working as a partner, as a family, and being part of this evolution of our customers. Some of them are way much bigger than they were when they started with us, and we also grow with our customers. And this is something that, in fact, it's a win-win for us, and that makes us today being, like you said, across the globe, 24/7 available, follow the sun support for our customers, and delivering what I sometimes call a concierge service, a premium service to our customers that is thinking on them, thinking on their business 24/7. Again, being a true partner, and this is what we do. So this pains what you shared is what we do, and that's it. Nothing else to add. You said it, most of it. Thank you for sharing your expertise.
Thank you, João. You mentioned something very important, which is the word partnership. The word partnership is very important for us and to our approach. I mean, we have customers that are with us even prior the foundation of B1 Solutions. They came with us from a previous partner with whom we were working. So when B1 Solutions was founded in 2008, 5 of the founders were working on a different SAP partner.
Well, a great year, 2008.
Yes, and we came from that partner, and some of the customers understood and that we knew what they need, and they came with us, and so we have this partnership. We have this partnership with those customers since 2006, and then from 2008 as B1 Solutions. So some of those customers are still our customers in 2021. And this says a lot about the spirit of B1 Solutions. This says a lot about the quality of the service and how committed we are on that word that is partnership. We are not a vendor for a one-time deal or for a one-time implementation. You know, as I mentioned, we are focused on global rollouts, and a global rollout is never one-time implementation. We
never
are a
ends.
vendor for, sorry?
I say it never ends. Companies
correct.
Always changing.
Yes, correct. We are a vendor for a long-term relationship, and we are in the life of our customers like SAP is in the life of them. So we are for the long run, and as you said, as they are acquiring new businesses, this is the never end. This is how they are always needing our support implementing a new subsidiary or rolling out new requirements that cascades down from the headquarters. So that's why we are a long-term relationship partner, and we many times we approach the customer looking to find where is the win-win between the two of us. I mean, if there is only one win, there is no partnership. So we are always looking to find together with the customer the win-win solution for both of us. We are not only winning the customer by winning the customer, but we are winning the customer reference, because we are also on the reference business. Because when we try to sell our services and our business to our customers, we often tell them, hey, look of what we have done with customer A or customer B or customer C, and we ask them to talk with those reference customers. We have great success stories, and we have made videos with SAP that tell how good we were for the customer and with the customer. So this is why I say we are also in the reference business. And we need the customer to be successful, to build a success story and a success case. So so that we can win that reference. The customers sometimes come to us because they hear good things about us, and in order to hear good things about us, it means that there are customers talking about us, or SAP is talking about us, or we were also a success story next to SAP, and that then generates some noise, that some positive noise, and those customers then come to us. So we in order for us to win the reference, we need to win the partnership. And we approach the customer and ask, how can I win your partnership? How can I take care of your money? How can I take care of your business? How can I get your reference for other opportunities? So I wanted to finish my side of the webinar with this comment about partnership and the customer reference, because we are very oriented to customer success and customer satisfaction. So so these are basically my last words. Thank you very much for your time and presence. We are going to keep doing more specific webinars within this series, shortly about Brexit, localization challenges like Brazil, China, India. You are all invited to join our next webinars, but I would like to kind of challenge, if you could suggest what can we bring for future webinars? What are your suggestions for future webinars? And if you want to leave your suggestions, you could leave a note on the chat or write us an email, and we would be very happy to take your suggestion and convert it into a webinar, and even inviting you to be part of that webinar and share with us your challenges and build a webinar around the suggestion and the challenge around the suggestion. So B1 Solutions is here to help, to share your experience, success and pain points, and work together with you to find solutions for those as well. João, do you want to add something else?
No, I think you said it all. I want to thank you also for attending this, and you are all invited to the next series, and I hope to see you soon.